Welcome to this introductory class on CBT for psychosis. I hope you're going to find this kind of CBT as exciting as I do. And I hope what you learn in this class is really going to help you do great work assisting people who are struggling with psychotic experiences. I'll say a few things about what's going to be covered here. I'm going to start by talking about some general ideas about CBT for psychosis and how it relates to other ways of trying to understand and work with psychosis. Then I'm going to get into the basic style of this kind of approach. And then I'll cover two of the really important techniques. Then we'll look at how CBT for psychosis approaches various different experiences and behaviors within psychosis, like voices or beliefs that seem to be delusional, thought disorder, that kind of stuff. And then finally, we'll wrap up by looking at how to integrate this kind of approach with the rest of the mental health system, and also how to keep learning about this method once you're finished with this class. Because, by the way, it's important to point out that you won't fully learn how to practice CBT for psychosis from an introductory seminar like this. It really takes a lot of further study to become fully proficient. So that's why I'll be giving you some ideas about how to continue your learning at the end of this class. But much of CBT for psychosis is really pretty simple, and simple enough that I believe that you'll be able to get lots of useful ideas and ideas about things to do to improve your practice just out of this particular class. And I'd like to say a little more about why you might find what you learn in this class to be really important. As you know, trying to help people who have psychotic experiences is often quite difficult. Not only do they seem kind of lost, but we can become pretty lost when we're trying to figure out how to be helpful, just because it's difficult stuff. And CBT for psychosis does offer quite a few really practical, down-to-earth ways that we can keep our bearings while we're trying to work with difficult states. And it has a lot of specific ideas about how to proceed, but also encourages a lot of flexibility to meet individual needs. Really tune into where particular people are at. It's also helpful that CBT for psychosis is considered an evidence-based approach, it's because it's been proven in a lot of research to reduce problems at least somewhat. There's at least, 36, actually that was a while ago, randomized studies that show significant positive effects, even though there's still controversy around exactly how effective it is or exactly what it helps with. One sign of the success of CBT for psychosis improving itself is that in the UK, where most of this research has been done, the National Health Service recommends that CBT for psychosis be made available to everyone, for example, everyone diagnosed with schizophrenia, everyone that has that kind of experience. This method's still much less known and practiced in the US, but we're hoping to change that. So in addition to how CBT for psychosis can help with the short term, it also fits in well as part of a strategy to assist people towards a possible long-term recovery, even possible full recovery. And it is known from long-term outcome studies that many people do make full recoveries after being diagnosed, even with serious diagnoses like schizophrenia and some of the other psychotic disorders. Another cool thing about CBT for psychosis is just a really interesting way of working, and I hope you're going to be able to experience in this class just something of how fascinating this kind of work can be. It's also helpful that this is a kind of approach that can be practiced to some degree, at least, in a wide variety of settings. So people who work as case managers or job coaches or prescribers or various other things may find that knowing and practicing at least some CBT can be useful, while those of us who have the space for longer meetings that we might call therapy can use some of the strategies in a more thorough way. Now, I myself work as a therapist. I work at a nonprofit agency, and also do a bit of private practice, and I do specialize in working with people who have some psychotic experience, who have had psychotic experience and want to work on not having too many problems in the future. I also supervise some therapists and oversee the work of a few peer specialists. In the past, I facilitated a lot of groups, like hearing voices groups, so I'm not doing that right now. But I do really enjoy practicing the methods of CBT for psychosis, and I really appreciate the ways they allow me to help people. And I'm hoping that as you learn this approach, you're going to find that it really works for you as well. So let's get started.